Hi guys, welcome to Small Farmer Life. Hope you're all having an awesome day. And we're sat down near the pond. It's a little bit overcast, but we're going to talk about things you should be thinking about growing when you first get hold of some land. Because people seem to think raising sheep, cows maybe, growing vegetables of all kinds that we eat here in the UK is going to make them any sort of money, and especially profits, which it's not. So it doesn't matter how much land you buy. If you buy 10 acres, 1 acre, 100 acres, you have no more right to stay on that land than anybody else. So if it's 1 acre plot, you've got just as much right to stay on that land as somebody with 100 acres. Before we get into the video, guys, if you're thinking about buying some land, you want to start a small farm, maybe a small holding, maybe some other form of rural enterprise, or maybe you want to live an off-grid lifestyle, think about hitting that subscribe button. Go back, check out some of the videos already uploaded to the channel. You find some useful information in those videos. And also think about hitting the bell button for future videos. If you like the video at the end of the video, think about hitting the like button. But when you first buy your land, I've said it in other videos, get the land prepared for when you move on. And what I mean by that is, whatever type of farming you're going to be doing, whether you're going to be going down the permaculture route, growing microgreens and growing specialty mushrooms, I advise you to do that over growing any type of produce that you can find cheap as chips in any local supermarket or your local convenience store. You can't compete with them on price, and you don't want to be competing with them on price. And the same goes for animals. When it comes to pure breed chickens, you can sell pure breed fertile hatching eggs, you can sell pure breed chicks, you can sell pure breed hens. You can make £14 profit on a batch of 6 eggs from pure breed hens. And if you pick the right pure breeds to go with first, not the ones that you like, but the ones that sell the best. And I sell pure breed hen eggs to the public and to other breeders. And the best ones to sell are Buff Sussex, Light Sussex, Rhode Islands, those sorts of breeds, not fancy breeds that you might sell a couple of eggs of here and there. You want to be selling on a regular basis. And I've sent out 20 boxes in a day. So that's a few £100 profit in a day from what cost me probably a couple of bags of Lay's pellets to feed my pure breeds. And they are free ranging. At this moment they're not because of bird flu in the UK, but I do free range them, and I keep them in chicken tractors which I move daily, and I've still got all my chicken tractors, but they're dormant at the moment. But those are better animals to keep, and you'll make a lot more profit from several pure breed hens and a cockerel than you will ever make from a couple of sheep. Just fact. And when it comes to growing things, guys, if you go down the permaculture route and microgreens and specialty mushrooms, you need a lot less land to grow that produce. You just do. Growing salad greens, growing microgreens and growing mushrooms, people are doing this sort of stuff in the garden of the home or in a loft or in a cellar. Doesn't matter where they are, they manage to make a profit from selling microgreens and specialty mushrooms. You can't get specialty mushrooms in the supermarket. A lot of vegetarians eat specialty mushrooms. Some of them have like a meaty texture to them, so it's like an alternative to meat. These are great things for you to grow. If you start off out the gate growing specialty mushrooms, microgreens, salad greens and all those sorts of things, and you market them to the right people, and I'm not talking about locals around the corner or friends and family, I'm talking about high-end restaurants, making sure you take really good images of the produce you're selling. Honestly guys, good images people buy with the eyes. There's a reason Kellogg's cornflakes use wood glue in the photographs, because have you ever seen milk poured on cornflakes? It looks disgusting. So people will buy with the eyes. Now you need to have a website. It's as simple as that. And websites are so cheap and so easy to make. You can get a Shopify site that takes care of absolutely everything. Now, there's other websites or website providers that take care of all the back end stuff, so you don't have to mess around with WooCommerce and all that sort of stuff. All you've got to do is upload a description, and you can get really good copy from OpenAI at this moment. So if you say, Why are organic salad greens better than supermarket salad greens? It'll spit out really good copy that you can use on your website. Photographs, set up an area where you take good photos. Doesn't have a messy background. You're not going to walk up your vegetable patch and just take photos of your vegetable patch. You need to give off an impression that your produce is high-end produce, and it will be high-end produce, and you can make off quarter acre 100k a year. And I'm going to leave links in the description of people who are doing just that. Off quarter acre plots, you can take good care of. If you see a weed, pick it out, see a stone, pick it up, sort of thing. You don't need big machinery to work that small plot. You don't need lots of helpers. You will need helpers when you start selling a lot of salad greens, and you can get salad greens that are cut and come. So basically you only have to cut so much of the actual salad green off, and then it'll grow back. Same goes for microgreens. They grow within a couple of weeks, and you can get good money for them. You'll get better money than a supermarket ever would, and you can grow them all year round. If you're using LED lighting, you can grow microgreens all year round. Now you can grow them for about 9 months a year in a polytunnel or in a greenhouse, which I'd suggest you do, and only use LEDs when winter months really set in. Honestly guys, if you concentrate on high yielding, high profit margin produce, you will do really well. Now, you can also diversify your farm. So let's say you're at a pond the size of mine behind me. You could breed koi in that pond. You could put the fry in the smaller pond, and you could sell them to locals for £10 each or 3 for £10. And that would be a good side income for your small farm. Maybe you've got an extra bit of time after you've tended to the salad greens and your microgreens and you've watered them and all those sorts of things, and maybe you've finished with your specialty mushrooms. You've got a couple of extra hours on the end of the day. You might have a wood shop, and you might make bed tables, bed boxes, planters and that sort of thing. All these things will add profit to your small farm. And you don't have to make 25 grand, 50 grand a year from your small farm, even though some people are doing just that. You only have to make 18k a year, the average pay for a rural worker, to stay on that land. And if you can prove a need to stay on that land, and this is where getting your land prepared to farm before you move on the land is the best way to go about it, because cut the hay fields, you've got all your cardboard down, you've got all your compost on top of the cardboard layer, and then you've put your wood chip paths in and everything like that. You've fixed all your fencing up, no rabbits can get in, and you've got your buildings for tools and all that on site. Well, you can move on to that site straight away, and if the council come out and ask you what you're doing there, you can just say, I'm starting a small farm, and I've got my website set up, I've got all my beds set up, I've got my mushroom house set up, I've got my microgreens house set up, and you're prepared to start farming straight away. So no preparing your farm when you're already on the farm, because if it's all prepared when you first move onto the farm, then you've got 3 years in temporary accommodation, so a static caravan, to prove to the council you can turn a profit from that land. Now, if you started growing on your land and were turning a profit before you moved on the land, then the council would say, well, you made a profit before you moved on here, why do you need to be here? But if you turn a profit while you're on the land and you needed to be on the land to turn that profit, you can explain to them, well, I needed to be here, otherwise driving 5 miles that way and 5 miles back and going all over the place to sell my produce, I would never have the time to grow the produce in the first place if I wasn't on site and taking care of my salad beds, my salad greens, bagging them, washing them, packaging them, taking care of the website, in the office. All those sorts of things take up time. And this is what you need to understand. You need to understand that if you're going to go down this route of living on your own land, the 4-year and 1 day rule's getting kicked out, so it's going to be 10 years and 1 day. And if you're in the right place, then you can hide out for 10 years and 1 day and claim the right lawfulness. But if you are wanting to start a small rural enterprise, honestly guys, you only give you 3 years to start making a profit. You only have to make 1 year's profit in those 3 years. And there's an easy way to do that. I can't say it on this video, but there's an easy way to do it. Now guys, if, like I say, you do all the work after you've moved on the land, that's going to take up probably a year of your time. But if it's already done when you move on the land, you can start farming straight away. You've already got your website set up, so the first crops that you produce, they'll be on your website. you start marketing to restaurants, you send them sample boxes, you made your own logo for your farm, maybe you've got a rubber stamp for that logo so you can stamp plain cardboard boxes to make it look more professional. You pack the salad greens professionally and you send sample boxes to high-end restaurants from your farm. You take good photos of how you're growing the produce, all those sorts of things. High-end restaurants will really, really love. And if you're sending it to high-end restaurants in the local area, well, guess what? They're going to be able to tell their patrons that the food that they're eating came from the farm down the road or a farm 5 miles away. And that is what people want to hear in high-end restaurants. They don't want to hear that the food that they're eating came from a farm 200 miles away that uses artificial fertilizers and pesticides on those crops. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear that the food that they're putting in their mouth is worth the money that they're paying for that plate of food. It's as simple as that, guys. And it's really down to you guys to understand what sells and what doesn't. And if it's not selling, you're not working hard enough to sell it. And like I say, if you have to send out free sample boxes, then send out free sample boxes. And this is the key, I think, for small farmers staying on their small farms. And it's the only way to get past government regulation and get governments to understand that small farmers can actually be an asset to a community and not a hindrance. Just because somebody has bought a couple of acres and they want to live on that land doesn't make them a bad person. And the countryside shouldn't just be open to the wealthy to buy a second home that they can stay in for a couple of months a year. And anybody else who moves onto that land or into that area, that they're some sort of outlier and some sort of vagabond. Small farmers have just as much right to the countryside as large farmers who work for big agri, because most of them do nowadays. Like the guy over the road, he breeds pigs. Big agri built the barns, they send the feed. All he does is feed the pigs and clean the pigs out. He has nothing else to do with raising those pigs. The farmers are disconnected from the food that they're actually raising. And that's what it's like now. Big corporations have took over and small farmers are being pushed out. But small farmers just need to adapt. If you do it right, it will certainly be sustainable. Anyway, guys, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, and you should subscribe, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be notified of more upcoming videos, hit the bell button. My name's Craig. You've been watching The Small Farm Life. Thanks again to all my parents. Couldn't thank you guys enough. And YouTube members, really appreciate the support. Till next time, guys, make sure you take care of yourself. Most of all, take care of the family. Be genuine, guys. Bye for now. See you.